Columbia identify themselves.
We're from Cam High in Kamloops, BC. My name is Tony Ryan. Hello, I'm James Ward.
My name is Steve Reese.
Hi, I'm Claudia Heinrich.
And would the Reach for the Top team members representing Saskatchewan identify
I'm
themselves?
from Kamloops Collegiate Institute of Regina, and I'm John Tuff.
Keith Bertrand. Scott Robertson. I'm Brian McLeod.
From Corner Brook, Newfoundland, the 1981 Reach for the Top National Playoffs. During the next half hour, 8 of these outstanding students representing 2 provinces compete in their quest for the National Reach for the Top Championship. And now, from the Corner Brook Arts and Culture Center, here is your Newfoundland host, David McDonald.
Thank you very much, and welcome to Western Newfoundland and to Corner Brook. Of course, our teams have been visiting other places besides the city of Corner Brook. They've been all over. They've been cod jigging, and as we say in Newfoundland, they've had a feed of lobster. They visited places like Norris Point and Loch Harbour, and have gained some impressions of our province. But they came to play Reach for the Top, and that competition is about set to get underway. Let's introduce our judges to you. They are from Winnipeg, Bernie Melman, and from Toronto, Paul Russell. And now, may I welcome, from Winnipeg, our quizmaster, Bill Gatt.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you a lot. Thank you. Thanks. I'm beginning to look like a lobster, Dave. Up to this point, we've had some very good games in this series of Reach for the Top in the playoffs. We've had 6 very fine games, and it's been keen competition from start to finish. And as you know, the scores have been very close as well. Now, both British Columbia and Saskatchewan hope to win not only this game, but the national championship as well. But only time will tell. Let's get down to business here with our first questions. These are all open. They're short snappers, 10 points each, and here is the first. In which mountain range will we find the Soviet city called Ijevsk? Go ahead, Steve.
Urals.
That's right. This is another open question. What was the 17th century French term that means runners of the forest? What's the term, Scott? Try it, please, British Columbia. Do you know, Jim?
Coeur de Bois.
That's correct, yes. Who is the president of France? Anyone, please? Tony.
Giscard d'Estaing.
You have it right. What kind of a creature is a boomslang? Boomslang, Tony.
It's a type of rodent.
It is not. No, what is it? Do you know, John?
Snake.
It's a snake, specifically, yes. What is the term used to describe a meteor bright enough to cast, yes, Tony?
Shooting star.
No, it's bright enough to cast a shadow. What's the term for that kind of a meteor? Do you know, Saskatchewan, Keith?
A big sucker.
It's, well, that's, could call it that, or you could call it a fireball. That's what I have here. So much for snappers. Let's follow the path to this question. This is about historical roads and trails. I'm going to describe them. We want you to name them. It was the first military highway constructed by the ancient, yes, Tony?
The Appian Way?
That's correct. Created by the Romans, yes. It's the longest of the overland routes taken by American pioneers during the, Scott?
The Cumberland Road?
No, it was taken during the westward migrations. What is
Chisholm
it called?
Trail?
No, it was the Oregon Trail. It's the overland route constructed prior to World War II in Southeast Asia.
The Burma Road?
Yes, the Burma Road is quite right. It's the road that begins in Dawson Creek in British Columbia, Tony.
The Alaska Highway.
It is the Alaska Highway, that's right. Motion picture fans, you'll like this next question. We want you to identify the movies from which these themes were taken. Here is the first. Listen, please. All right, Tony.
West Side Story?
Not right, no. All right, Scott.
Cat on a Tin Roof.
No, but you're not far off. It was called What's New, Pussycat. That was the name of the motion picture. This music was the title of a Betty Davis movie. Listen to this, please. Try it, John.
Jezebel?
Not right, no. All right, British Columbia, any takers there? It was called Hush Hush, Sweet Charlotte. Okay, here's our third one. In which movie was this the title song? Try it, Brian.
Born Free.
Born Free. 10 points for that. Yes, good answer. And here is the last in our series of 4. Name the motion picture this time. Brian.
A Summer Place?
Not right. Not A Summer Place. Tony.
Summer of 42.
No, it was called simply Alfie. Title music for Alfie. How well do you remember quotations? We'll soon find out. I'm going to read a quotation, and you name the scientist to whom it's attributed. I'll offer a clue after the quote if you need it. Now, here is the first. Chance favors the prepared mind. Who said that, Scott?
Einstein.
Now, here's the clue now. Chance favors the prepared mind. Those were the words of a French biologist and chemist. Who is that, please? Yes, do you know, Tommy?
Pasteur.
You have it right, yes. Who said, if I had seen farther than others, it is because I stood on the shoulders of giants. Who is that, Scott?
Einstein.
No, the speaker was an English physicist and mathematician, Tony.
Isaac Newton.
That's who it was, yes. Another Frenchman once said this, it is a truth very certain that when it is not in our power to determine what is true, try that, Claudia.
Lavoisier?
No, when it's not in our power to determine what is true, we ought to follow what is most probable. The clue is he was a philosopher and mathematician who died in 1650. Who's that? Do you know, John?
Rousseau?
René Descartes is the answer. And who said imagination is more important than knowledge? The clue is this. Go ahead, Tony.
Einstein?
Yes, it was. You don't need the clue. That's right. It is Einstein. Yes. Well, I don't have to tell you that 56 years ago, the year was 1925, and that was the year of birth for a number of entertainment stars. So many of the babies born in 1925 wound up as celebrities. Let's find a few here that are 56 years old. He arrived in the world at Corning, Iowa. His first successful television series was called Who Do You Trust? He works for NBC. Who is it, please, Scott?
Bob Hope.
Not right. Who are we after, British Columbia? Do you know, Jim?
Carson.
Johnny Carson is right, yes. Now, this 56-year-old plays the piano. His middle name is Emmanuel, and he was born...
Liberace?
Not right, no. His middle name is Emmanuel, and he was born in Montreal. Highly respected the world over as a superb jazz pianist.
Oscar
Clyde.
Peterson?
Oscar Peterson is right, yes. This next 1925 baby is a producer and a game show host. He was born in Winnipeg and created the series called Let's Make a Deal. Who is that,
Monty
John?
Hall?
That's correct. He was first smacked on the bottom in San Mateo, California. Like Mike Douglas, he also sang with the big bands and is also the host of a talk show. Who's that, Scott? Try it, please, British Columbia. Do you know anyone there? The answer is Jim.
Irv Griffin.
Irv Griffin is good for 10 points. Surprised you there, eh, Jim? Okay, here's a 35-point team question. Let's scramble for the first 5 in this. Seward's Folly was the nickname given to a certain American land purchase. Which one, Steve?
Alaska.
Try it. You've got it. Alaska's right, yes. All right, second part of this for the British Columbia team. Alaska was purchased by the United States from Russia. In what year did that transaction take place, BC? Steve?
1867.
Right on the nose. William Seward masterminded the acquisition of Alaska. He was the Secretary of State under which president? That's the question. All right, try it, Tony.
Madison.
Andrew Johnson is the answer. To the nearest million, how much did the United States pay Russia for Alaska? To the nearest million, Tony?
7 million.
Right on the nose. Yes, indeed. 7,200,000. Yes. This next open question is something offbeat, I think. In this case, a few basic historical dates coupled with some equally basic arithmetic can add up to a few fast points. For example, take the year in which Alfred Nobel invented dynamite, add all the digits, and what number do you get? The answer is 21. Okay, that's just an example. Try these. Add the digits in the year that Jacques Cartier landed at Gaspé and claimed the land for France. What do you get? Add all the digits. Tony?
12.
No, not right. Do you know Saskatchewan, please? The answer, Scott?
7.
The answer is 13. The year was 1534. Now add the digits in the year of Prime Minister Trudeau's birthday, his birth date. What do you get? The year of his birth. Add them up. Try it, John.
20.
20 is right on because it was 1919, yes. Now add the digits. Go ahead, Tony.
42.
Not right. This is yours, Saskatchewan. Add the digits in the year that the exiled Leon Trotsky was assassinated in Mexico. And what do you get? Try it, Scott.
14.
14's right. The year was 1940. All right. Both teams back in action. It was the year 130 million saw Roots on television, breaking all audience records. Add the digits, and what do you get? What do you get, Tony?
28.
Not right, no. What was it, Brian?
25.
24, because the year was 1977. Well, you did very well with those, I think. Now, I hope you're ready for your one-on-one assigned questions when you compete only against the opposite number in the other team. Now, we're about going to talk about Shakespeare here. His plays dealt with the lives of many kings, but all were not given the prominence in plays that the Henrys received, or the Richards, or the Johns. Now, what do you recall about the following kings and their subjects? We're starting off with Tony and John. In Cymbeline. Cymbeline is the king of what? Cymbeline, yes, John.
Syracuse?
Not right, no. Do you know, Tony, the answer?
Norway.
The answer is Britain, the king of Britain. In Hamlet, Claudius is the king of what? Okay, John. Denmark is right, yes. Now, Jim and Keith, in A Midsummer Night's Dream, Oberon is the king of what, Jim?
Fairies?
Yes, that's right. And in The Tempest, Alonzo is the king of what? Alonzo, Jim. Any idea, please?
Naples?
Keith, do you know? Yes, Keith.
Italy.
The answer is Naples, but you're late with that, Jim. Steve and Scott, your turn. In The Winter's Tale, Leontes is the king of what? Yes, Scott.
Yugoslavia.
Not right. Do you know, Steve? All right.
Britain.
No, Sicilia. In the third act of King Henry V, Louis is the 11th king. He's king of what? Yes, Scott.
France.
Yes, that is quite right. Claudia and Brian, in Love's Labor Lost, Ferdinand is the king of what? Yes, Claudia.
Spain?
Not right. Do you know, Brian? Go ahead.
Madrid.
The answer is Navarra. And in this last question, in Troilus and Cressida, Priam is the king of what? Priam, yes, Claudia.
Troy.
Troy is right for points, yes. Well, that's all the assigned questions. Well, I think we all deserve a short recess here, but the teams will continue to reach for the top right after we pause for these reminders. So stay with us.
More than 50 cents out of every dollar in our pockets comes from an air.
Well, before we get on with more questions and answers, Bernie, how do the scores stand? Are they
Scores are
accurate?
fine, Bill.
They're
Ready to
accurate? Okay, the score is 70 for Saskatchewan, British Columbia 165, and no adjustments. All right, teams, some short snappers to get this round underway. During the summer of 1980, what was the name of the Winnipeg newspaper that ceased publication, Tony?
Winnipeg Free Press.
That's not it, no. Do you know Saskatchewan,
The
John?
Tribune?
It was the Tribune, that's right. What is the Norwegian word used to describe a long, narrow inlet of the sea, Tony?
Fjord?
Yes. First and last names this time, please. The city of Brantford, Ontario is named in honor of what Mohawk Indian chief who aided the British during the American, yes, Brian?
Joseph Brant.
Joseph Brant during the American Revolution. Name the region of Italy that includes the provinces of Catanzaro and, yes, Keith. This is yours, British Columbia. It contains the provinces of Catanzaro and Cosenza. What are we talking about? Do you know? It is, Claudia?
Sicily?
It is Calabria. What fruit produced annually in the United States has the greatest commercial value? Who knows that, Steve?
Oranges.
Yes, that is quite right. I think jet setters will have no trouble with this next question. If you're a jet setter, you'll like this. I'm going to name an airline. You give me the name of the country with which that airline is associated. First, Aer Lingus. All right, Keith. Try it, please, British Columbia. Do you know, Tony?
Ireland.
Ireland's right for Aer Lingus, yes. With which country is Olympic Airways associated, Keith?
Italy.
Not right. Do you know British Columbia, Tony?
Greece.
Greece is right, yes. How about the airline called El Al? El Al, Tony?
Israel.
Yes. South American airline this time, Aero Condor. Which country, Tony?
Argentina.
That's not right. Do you know Saskatchewan, John?
Paraguay.
It is Colombia. Next, Sabina World Airlines. Which country, Tony?
Sweden.
Not right. Sabina. Do you know, please, Saskatchewan, John?
Ireland.
It is Belgium for Sabina. And with which country do we associate Lufthansa? Yes, Tony?
Germany.
That will not do it. Which country is it? Do you know, Scott?
West Germany.
West Germany is more like it. That is the answer. Yes. So much for airlines. We're going after a street right now, and the first clue will get you 40 points if you get it right. And it's a short clue because here's the way it reads. As streets go, this street is short. You'll find it in London, England, within the city of Westminster, Tony.
Penny Lane.
Not right, no. Anyone know, Brian?
Bond Street.
No, not right. For 30 points now, it developed from an alley that was built in the 1600s for playing a game that was, yes, Tony?
Tin Pan Alley.
Not right. The game was the forerunner of croquet. What's the name? Okay, Scott?
Oxford.
Not right. No. Next clue for 20 points. The street shares its name with
Pall Mall.
Pall Mall is right, John. You've got it. You got it on the third clue. You get 20 points for that, yes. Okay, now there are several ways of spelling Pall Mall, and you've just seen them on the monitor. All right, now the subject is art this time. As you know, domestic scenes have been popular subjects in painting since ancient times. These four works span the last 400 years. We want you to identify the artists in each instance. This, first of all, was the work of an American who lived in Paris. But whose work is this that you see on your monitor? Try it, Claudia.
Cézanne?
No, not right. Whose work is that, John?
Rousseau?
No, that happens to be the work of the American artist Mary Cassatt. It was called After the Bath. Okay, next we have the work of a French cubist. Whose work is this you see here? Do you know, John?
Braque?
No, not Braque. Do you know, Jim?
Picasso?
No, that's not right. That was Paul Cézanne's work, and he called it the kitchen table. Okay, an English painter gave us this fine work that you're going to identify now, I hope. Who was the artist, John?
Hogarth?
Yes, Hogarth is right, and that was called the marriage contract. We've seen that many times. And finally, this, a Dutch domestic scene in the 17th century. Who was the painter, Claudia?
Oh, Van Eyck.
Not right, no. You know Saskatchewan, please, John?
Rembrandt?
Jan Vermeer painted that. That was the young woman with a water jug. Okay, let's leave the art gallery and scramble for these 35 points. First of all, in the spectrum, what color lies between yellow and blue? What is it, Keith?
Green.
That's it. Second part of this to the Saskatchewan team, yes. Okay, we're going to deal with a lot of unrelated greens here, Saskatchewan. What was the secret identity of Britt Reed, for example? Yes, John?
The Green Hornet.
That's correct. In which stadium is the left field wall nicknamed the Green Monster? In which stadium? You know, Scott?
Boston. Fenway Park.
Right, that's fine, good. And which American state is nicknamed the Green Mountain State? Who can take it, John? Vermont is quite right, yes. And while we've been talking about Green Hornets and Green Monsters, this man has been waiting patiently to talk about his Green Island, Newfoundland. Here again is Dave McDonald.
Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you, audience. And teams, in today's game, we have early history of Newfoundland as the topic. It's worth 40 points. Here's the first part of it. Discovery Day in Newfoundland is June 24th. Yes, Scott?
It's Cartier.
No, not Cartier. I'll finish the question for British Columbia. It commemorates the landfall in 1497 of this explorer. Name him, please. It is Tony?
Columbus?
It is not Columbus. It is John Cabot. In 1534, an explorer sailed the Strait of Belle Isle. Yes, I'll take it from Keith.
Cartier?
It is Cartier. He said, I incline to regard this part of Newfoundland, or this part of the land, as one God gave to Cain. That was in 1534. Part 3. Who received a charter from Queen Elizabeth I? 1578 is the date. It grants the right to establish a colony in Newfoundland. Who was that, please, Steve?
Frontenac?
Not Frontenac, no. John? Say it again.
Cabot?
No, it's Sir Humphrey Gilbert. And this final one, who was selected by the Company of London and Bristol Merchants in 1610 to establish the first colony in Newfoundland. His name, please, Tony?
Roberts?
Not Roberts, no. I'll take it from Saskatchewan.
Cabot.
No, it's John Guy. And that's our history question on Newfoundland.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much. All right, just before this game got underway today, both teams were offered a choice of topics for our category question, and today's choices were football, chemistry, insects, and mountains. And BC's Steve Reese, what subject has your team chosen, please?
Chemistry.
Uh-huh. And how about Saskatchewan's Scott Robertson? What subject did you choose?
Mountains.
All right, now let's give you your questions. First of all, British Columbia. The subject was chemistry you've chosen. What is the name of the liquid remaining after sodium chloride has been crystallized from brine? It's a commercial source of magnesium compounds. That's your question. Now for Saskatchewan. What is the name of the mountain system of Scotland that forms the natural division between the lowlands and the highlands? All right, teams, while you go to work on those, they're worth 20 points each. We're going to take a short recess. We'll be back just in 2 minutes from now to continue reaching for the top. So please stay with us. Well, we're going to get our answer to the category questions, and we're going to Steve Reese of BC first of all. What's the name of the liquid remaining after sodium chloride has been crystallized from brine? What do you have, Steve?
That residue would be be Epsom salts, which is liquid MgSO4.
Well, the answer that we were looking for was simply bittern, B-I-T-T-E-R-N. So let's go to Saskatchewan now. Scott Roberts, what is the name of the mountain system of Scotland that forms the natural division between the lowlands and the highlands?
Caledonians.
The answer is the Grampian Mountains, capital G-R-A-M-P-I-A-N. Well, there's no points for the category question, but it's a nice try nevertheless. Now, let's get on with more questions than answers with the score 175 Saskatchewan, 215 for British Columbia. We have a music question here. Scotland has fascinated many composers of other lands. Identify the composers of the excerpts that you're going to hear. And again, I'll offer a clue if you care to wait for it. But first, here's the music. Well, this is called a Scottish dance. A Bohemian composed this for piano. What was his name, John? Not Liszt, no. Who was it? British Columbia, do you know? Quiet, Claudia.
Brahms.
The work of Dvorak that time. Okay, now listen to this music and wait for a clue. I'll tell you as a clue that a French composer created this Scottish march. Steve?
Bizet?
Not right, no. Who was it, John?
Debussy?
That's who it was, absolutely. 10 points for that, John, yes. Okay, next, whose work is this? Listen, please. Well, this sextet is from Lucia di Lammermoor, written by an Italian master of the bel canto. Who's
Verdi?
that? Not Verdi, no. British Columbia? Try it, Claudia.
Purcell?
No, that was the work of Donizetti. And here is the last in our series of 4. First, the music. was this? A German wrote this Hebrides overture in the year 1830 after, yes, Keith?
Wagner.
No, it was after a Scottish holiday that he wrote it. He was a German. Who was that, please? British Columbia. Do you know, Steve?
Richard Strauss.
That was the work of Felix Mendelssohn. The Hebrides Overture. Here's another open question, and there's no music involved in this one. These questions are not directly related, but they are point getters, and I hope you get your share. One of the leading headline makers in 1980-81 was the Ayatollah Khomeini. He was a tough man to deal with, and I hope spelling his name is a little easier. Spell Khomeini, Steve.
Khomeni.
That's not right. Khomeini, please. Saskatchewan, Keith.
Khomeni.
You have it right for 10 points. How many times in past Decembers have you heard the recitation of the night before Christmas leading to the names of Santa's reindeer? Which one, go ahead, Tony.
Rudolph?
No. Which one's name begins with the fifth last letter of the alphabet? Fifth last letter, Saskatchewan, Keith.
Vixen?
Vixen is right, yes. She was the second daughter of James II. There's the bell that gets us now to the short snappers. 10 points for each of these. They're open, and here is the first one. Good luck with this. In which lake will you find Canada's most southerly point? Which lake, Keith?
Ontario.
British Columbia. Do you know anyone there? Go ahead, Tony.
Erie.
The answer is Lake Erie. What city is Italy's leading port? What city? Do you know, Ross Scott? Do you know British Columbia, please? Yes, Claudia.
Naples.
Genoa is the answer. What strait separates Newfoundland and Cape Breton? Yes, Keith.
Strait of Belle
That's
Isle.
not it. It separates Cape Breton Island from Newfoundland, Steve.
Cabot.
That's right. What is the slogan of the 4-H Club? Who can take it? Tony.
Learn by doing?
That's right. Ruthenium, osmium, and platinum are members of what group of elements? Do you know, Scott?
Lactonide series.
That will not do it. Tony.
Actinides?
It is the platinum metals. According to the Bible, what was the name applied by the prophet Isaiah to a future child who would deliver Judah from danger? All right, Claudia.
Messiah?
Not right. What's the name we're after?
The deliverer?
It is Emmanuel. Emmanuel. What is the name given to the weasel in the winter when its fur is white? What do you call a weasel in winter, John? You know, please, Steve?
The ermine.
You do. That's right, yes. Who wrote the score for the musical comedy Anything Goes and also Kiss Me, Kate? Who was
Porter.
that, John? Cole Porter's right. On what sea will we find the port cities Yanbu, Jeddah, and Port Sudan? Yes, Keith.
South China.
Not right. What sea, Steve? It is
Sea.
the Red Sea. What religious faith was founded in the late 19th century as the fulfillment of the Yes, Jim?
The Baha'i Faith?
That's correct. The Prophecy of Bab, yes. With which Broadway musical do we associate the songs Manchester, England, and Good Morning Sunshine? Do you know, Jim?
Hair.
Hair is right. What weapon resembling a short sword designed to be attached to, yes, John, you know, it is attached to the muzzle of a rifle that was developed in France, Jim?
Bayonet.
Bayonet's right, yes. Lou Boudreau, pie trainer, and there's the bell. The game is over, and here's the score. We have Saskatchewan 215, British Columbia 285. It seems as though BC has won the game. The judges will check the scores. We'll be back with the winners officially right after we pause for these scenes. All right, Judge, what do you say?
Score is right, Phil. British Columbia wins.
Score stands. British Columbia wins with 285. We thank Saskatchewan for a good game. Thank you, John Tuff, Keith Bertrand, Scott Robertson, Brian McLeod, and your teacher advisor, Mr. Michael Franker. Thank you very much. And now let's congratulate the winning team with 285. British Columbia's Tony Ryan. There's Jim Ward, Steve Reese, and Claudia Heinrich. And your teacher coach is Mr. Fred Purcello.
Well, Bill, British Columbia have moved off our flight board another step. Alberta and Newfoundland both had great scores in our first round. They'll compete next time when we bring you the national finals of Reach for the Top from Corner Brook, Newfoundland. We'll see you then.